Hello, Marek. Welcome.
Hi, Joanna. Welcome.
And
Nice to meet you.
you know, when I was thinking to whom should I talk to in regards to the fearless, actually, I should say, leadership and building resilience in your professional life, I had no doubts that it should be you. So for those who are listening from Poland, I'm sure I don't need to introduce you, but for some other foreigners, Marek is a very famous explorer, and he was the first man on the planet who reached the North and South Pole in the same year. Right now he's not only explorer and traveler, he continues with this, but he's also educator and he has his own academy. But maybe Marek, I will let you speak about yourself a little bit so people get to know you.
Yes, thank you very much, Joanna, for introducing me. And yes, I am professional explorer, extreme explorer, and also philosopher and entrepreneur and writer. So I went to North Pole and South Pole and supported as the first in the world in 1 year, and it was a very hard condition, very tough conditions, like the temperature minus 70 degrees Celsius and the winds up to 300 kilometers per hour, and open water. The bottom was 4 kilometers down, but I did also a lot of others expedition, like the first in the world traverse of the Gibson Desert in Australia. I traversed also Atlantic Ocean twice, and in the end, I also went with a disabled boy, Jacek Mela, in 1 year to the North Pole and South Pole. Jacek was hit by the electricity, like 15,000 volt when he was 13, and he lost arm and leg, and we were thinking with our friends how to help him. And then we thought that the best way to help him is by sharing time and experience. And in the end, we went together to the North Pole and South Pole. So the name of the expedition was Together to the Poles. And to prepare Jacek to this expedition, I discovered and invented the method, like the method of reaching the goals in life, in business life, in personal life. The name of the method is the pole method, and this method consists from 5 steps: discover your pole, the map of the road, the way is important, not the goal. The 4th step is 2 poles, success and failure, and the 5th step is know yourself. And this method also this method is suitable for reaching the goals, but also to manage the fear, because managing the fear is also kind of expedition or journey. And of course, by being in a very extreme condition on the ends of this world, in minus 50 and plus 50 degrees Celsius and a high altitude, and also in many really very risky expedition, I also learned how to deal with fear, how to manage the fear, and in the end, I am founder of Marek Kamiński Academy. In this company, we prepare programs for mental resilience for the big companies, and it is partly digital program. So we try to make it global, and now we have the first programs. But on the other hand, I founded the foundation where we have the program called Lifetime Academy for young people, and we started this program now in Africa, in Norway, in Poland, of course, and also United Kingdom. In this program, we give the power for young people to deal with the failures, to deal with obstacles, and we give them tools to reach to make their dreams reality. So that's
Wow.
more what I'm doing now.
You are a busy man, Marek.
Yeah,
You are a busy man, but as you hear, I'm talking to my followers. This is the right man to talk about the fearless leadership. And in current times, resilience is the most desirable skill by the leader, according to the research and according to the talent acquisition people. So what would be your advice how to manage the business without the fear?
I mean, I think that the fear, first of all, is a good emotion. It's something that you can look for at the fear like advisor or the teacher who comes to you and talks to you like there is a danger or something is maybe hard, etc. But he's not always right. I mean, this is sometimes this inner voice is right. So you really should care about something, or you have to be more careful. But in many cases, it is just something that you can even ignore. So you have to be careful about the fear and listen to the fear, because I think for me, without fear, I would be dead, because I was in really in very dangerous situation where it was very easy to lose life and to be dead, in fact. But because I was listening careful to fear, and I was able to manage the fear, I survived. So the problem is with the fear is that that you should try to manage. You should manage the fear and not allow that the fear is managing you. So from my experience, how I manage the fear. First of all, I think that this is very important to know yourself. To manage the fear, you have to know yourself. And I think in our life, because of our education and the patterns and the schema of education, it's very hard to know yourself, because you get the knowledge about outside world, you get the tools to have a success in outside world, but you don't have the tools in the primary school, in college, in high school, or in the study. You don't have the tools to know yourself, who you are. Nobody asks you question. Nobody teach you like to ask yourself your question: who I am. Not that I am, for example, businessman or manager or husband or wife, etc. But who am I really in my very deep inside me. So I think that we know only about surface, like about this superficial, like only this first step, or how to say it. Yeah, we know only this superficial information about us, but it's really, I think it is not easy to face yourself like more deeper. So, for example, normally the people, they avoid to be alone. Like to be alone, it's like to be with yourself. And so I think many people has a fear against yourself because they don't know, or they think that you are empty. There is nothing inside. But for me, when I went to the North Pole, South Pole, and I was alone, I had this experience that inside us is the same world that inside us is the same world that outside. But to go to the topic, so if you don't yourself, you don't trust yourself 100%. And if you don't trust yourself 100%, you cannot, you cannot manage sometimes, or you have this fear because you don't trust yourself.
You are not
So,
resilient in a way, right? You are not resilient.
yeah. And the resilience is also about knowing yourself and trusting yourself. And as I said, it's very hard to trust somebody that you don't know. So I think the way to build the resilience and to manage the fear is to start to know yourself, start to know your dreams or your goals or what is important for you in life, your values. And if you are defining your goals in life based on knowing yourself and on your values, you have the motivation to reach them. If the goals are only outside goals because somebody told you or you don't believe them, you don't have this motivation and the power to reach them. And then it's very easy to be distracted or to doubt and to stop and to have a fear.
Yeah, it's very interesting what you're saying, because in my, let's say, teaching on my website, what I'm saying is that the self-awareness is the foundation of leadership. And it's a continuous process, right? And only by going deep inside you, building the empathy towards yourself, you can create empathy towards others. And why I'm mentioning empathy? Because empathy is the #1 mostly desired skill of a leader based on research from the employees, from people. People now, they want to have empathetic leadership who really has an understanding and compassion for their situation, because we are living in a very turbulent times, as you know, and we all experience that. So I was just wondering how the empathy, you believe empathy towards yourself and others can help in achieving the goals.
Yes, I think that empathy is like connection, because by empathy you can better connect to the other people and you can understand them. And also by the empathy is towards the people, towards yourself, and towards the world. So you are like open and you try to understand. You are not projecting only your opinion for the world, for the other people, or you don't project the opinion of other people about you and yourself. So for me, empathy is like openness and connection and understand. First of all, understanding. So understanding, it's yes, understanding is trying to trying to understand other people, is going out from your opinion and to be open for the opinion of other people, and you don't have to agree 100%. You don't have to agree, but it is very important to be open and to also that I think the truth is fundamental for empathy, because empathy is also about the true relation, about the truth about ourselves and other people. So I think that empathy doesn't mean that you agree with everything, or you do everything what the other people say.
Of course.
But it's at least openness and trying to find the truth about yourself, about the situation, because empathy is also about managing the emotions. Yeah, we think something and we think that somebody is, for example, is is somebody's fault because something happened, but it's only maybe our projection. So we have to be open to understand other people. I think it's very important. For example, when I think about the empathy, when I compare it to the way to the North Pole, if I would think about the North Pole, South Pole, like an enemy, like a nature's enemy of myself, I would never reach the North Pole. Yeah. Because this enemy, the nature, is so powerful, and then you cannot beat him. You cannot beat him. But I never. So I think it's by understanding. You can think about the enemy, like not the enemy, but like other being that you have to understand, that you have understand his language, needs, etc.
Yeah, and create the connection with.
And then create the connection only by to reach the North Pole. I was able to reach the North Pole only because I was connected to the ice, to the sun, even to the low temperature. I liked it at the end, to the water.
Yeah.
And I could compare, because in the same time when I went to the North Pole, it was a guy from the Special Air Force who is also trying to reach the North Pole at the same time. And I met him before the expedition, then I met him on the ice. And for him, the temperature, the ice was the enemies. He tried to, he didn't build the connections to ice and water and elements, but it was his enemy. So he was like cut off from the nature. And he could not use this like power of the nature to move forward. And at the end, he stopped and he was evacuated. So I think, yes, empathy is kind of connection and kind of exchanging energy. And if you are like, if it's this wall, there is no connection and there is no exchanging energy. And the world is about like exchanging energy. So
absolutely,
it's maybe a little bit abstract, but it was very concrete when I went, or this was very real for me when I went to the North Pole and South Pole.
No, it's not abstract
at
all.
I think it's small, it's kind of metaphor,
yeah.
But it's the same because the North Pole and South Pole, Arctic and Antarctic, is like a laboratory when conditions are very pure. But in this pure condition, you can better observe the situation and better understand it. In this world full of noise and full of everything, it's a little bit harder to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that feeling, I think we spoke the other day. I also did as much smaller expeditions to Spitsbergen. And I love it. I remember the silence. I remember the bird touching the air, with the wings. I could hear the noise. It was just spectacular experience. So I know what you mean. And then the clarity of your mind is like meditation, right? The clarity is just huge.
Yes.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. So Marek, because right now you are also, you have your academy, you are also part of the business somehow. What are, from your point of view, and the current, especially when we look at the current situation in the world, what are the leadership skills needed nowadays to achieve the goals? You are very goal-oriented. What would be your advice to people?
I think when I refer to this Paul method, so they are like general skills that have a new dimension, and you have to build it in new ways. So this skills is like leadership, teamship, dealing with the failures, ability to restart, and resilience. But on the other hand, because this world is changing very fast, so we don't really we are not in the same situation. So we have to So resilience is first of all very important, and I think this is like the basis, fundament of reaching the goals is resilience, because we set the goal, but there is coming the war or epidemic or something others, and everything is changing. So we have to adapt to the situation, and continue the way to the goal or change the goal. And this is also very important ability to understand if because of the changing world we can still reach this goal, or you have to set other goal. I give you two examples. When I went to the North Pole, after we have the food supply or food for 72 days, and the distance was 700 kilometers, and after 100 kilometer, I cover only I use half of the food, but I cover only 1/7 of the way. So it was not mathematically possible to in the next 30 days to cover 600 kilometers. So I could stop and say, okay, this is not possible. So I stop and I come back, but I say, okay, I can go as far as possible, and the goal is not anymore the North Pole, but it's experience. If I gain experience, by the next try I could with a better experience I can do it. But then the conditions changed, and that was a good wind, and I was drifting with the ice because I was on the Arctic Ocean. So after more or less maybe 60 days, I was very close to the North Pole. So I just changed the goal once again, and I reached the North Pole after 72 days. But what is important is this: it is the ability to redefine the goals, but to continue the way. I think maybe the crucial skill is dealing with the failures, because sometimes I think that the success is just the top of the mountain of the failures. So as Winston Churchill said, the success is going from failure to failure without losing the enthusiasm. So yeah, dealing with the failures, I think there is no big success without dealing with the failures or coming through obstacles and learn from experience.
Very interesting.
On the top of this is this knowing yourself, this knowledge, and trusting yourself, and by knowing yourself, you can build the mental power and the energy to continue the way.
Yeah, the endurance.
I'm using just to be not very theoretical. So I am using every day. I'm asking myself, who am I? And this the question is the same, but the answer they can be different. And then I'm also using the practice that I call acceptance, gratitude, and awareness. And I learned this practice during the way to the Camino de Santiago, and during this way I walked 4,000 kilometers in 140 days, and many times I don't have the power to continue the trip. So then on this trip I learned this practice: acceptance, gratitude, and awareness. Acceptance, what the way is bringing to you, and the way is not always good, and it's not only good things on the way, but if you're stuck in the with the bad energy and bad things, you cannot move forward. So I think acceptance is very important, even to accept the thing that we don't like. And then gratitude, because there are many things in life that we don't have, but it's much more than that we have. Like, for example, life itself. Many of my friends, they die in Antarctica, in Himalaya, and they cannot face the problems, the everyday big problems. They would face that they wanted, I think they would want to face these problems, but they cannot, because they are not in the world, they are not anymore in this world. So I think the life itself is a gift. We didn't pay for it, we didn't earn this, it is a gift, and we can do something with this gift every day. So I think this and this many things, I think the people that we can be grateful for, and many things in life that we can be grateful, but normally we are focused on the things that we don't have.
Yeah.
And we are not happy that we don't have this small, sometimes very small things, and we don't see this, for example, the big things that we have, like love, friends, and safety, security, etc. And then the lasting awareness to be here and now, because we think about, for example, we think it is very hard to be in the present. It's very easy to be in the future or in the past, to think, oh, how it was good in the past, or if in the future, maybe in 10 minutes, I will be happy because this is the end of this lecture, or I can watch this, or I can do this, I can play in this. But by being here and now, we can use the full potential of life. And when I think about my life, the most crucial points, they were very tiny things, that because I was aware of this, because I was aware about the friend who gave me advice, I was able maybe to go to the North Pole, or I was able to found a company, or I was able to change the course of my business. So I think awareness is being here and now is very important, because we are living here and now, not in the past and not in the future. Absolutely. So this is more or less, I think, what's important.
Yeah, it's beautiful, because actually you're saying very much what I strongly believe. This is about the spiritual approach to life. It's about deep connection with oneself and deep understanding of who we are. This is a foundation of life, and this is also a foundation of business life. And I'm a strong believer that right now the survival process of our everyday life is simplified. You go to the store, you do shopping, you have shelter, you have all of that. So now it's a time that as humanity, we go into the deeper dimensions of our life, and we are not so superficial, as you mentioned that also many times. So I thank you for that, because it resonates tremendously with me. And that's also what I'm trying to convey with my portal Leaders with Empathy, that spirituality should be an everyday practice for business people, and they should be connected with the deeper self. So thank you so much, Marek, for this very insightful conversation. And I wish you all the best, and I wish you next fantastic travels.
Yeah, all the best, Joanna. And I wish you reaching your poles, not the geographical ones, but this is in your mind and in your hearts. Thank you very much.
Thank you.